Ever since the Bloxburg map update, I've been obsessed with the brand new beach blocks, and because of this, I've been looking at every single thing I could build on them, and one of my favourite ideas are these coastal beach houses you see in parts of England and Wales. So in today's video, let's see if I can replicate them in Bloxburg. So let's get into the actual building of this, and this is super random, but I want to start off with it because it's in my mind. When I start building like a new build or like just anything on a block, I always want the build to be perfectly in the middle of it, or even if the build isn't in the middle of it, I want to be aware of where the middle is. And to do this, all you have to do is draw two fence lines, and then like where they meet in the middle is the middle. So it's kind of random, but does anyone else do this? Anyway, going into the build, I had no plan for this. I literally just wanted to freestyle it and see kind of what felt right. Obviously, like the images I showed at the beginning were kind of reference points, but a lot of these builds are either on like main roads in towns, or if they are right by the beach, they're on like cliffside, which obviously makes sense because no one's gonna be building a house on sand, because I don't think that's possible. Maybe it is possible, but like it's still a dumb idea. Anyway, the point is I was just kind of freestyling it. I have built like townhouses before, almost like London style, so I did go for a very similar shape that I did for when I built those houses, but because obviously this is on a beach, it does look incredibly different in the end than those townhouses that I did build. I wanted there to be like one big road connecting all the houses. I think this is pretty common with like a town or a city, like there's going to be a road, but especially with where you normally see these houses, because they are normally on a road in a city or a town. I wanted to like maintain that idea by giving it a road that gave kind of city vibes, and in the end I think this looked kind of good. While I do some more building, I also wanted to talk really quickly about why I like these builds. And when I was a kid, we used to go camping like basically every year, and we used to always go camping in Cornwall and places in Wales, and they always had these damn colourful houses by the beach, and like obviously as a kid you're obsessed with like colours and stuff, so I was always drawn to these houses, and my favourite colour was and still is baby blue. So those blue houses, oh my god, I wanted so bad, and I still kind of do. And now we have the beach plots, I can finally have it. Anyway, let's circle back and talk about the build. Right now I'm just building like the steps up to the houses, townhouses in general, but I think these specifically because they are on like cliffs and hills, they always have like steps up to have a level floor. Think about it, if you're building on like a hill, you're going to want a flat ground in the house, therefore you're going to either have to dig into the hill, which is going to be expensive and a lot of effort, or you can just build up on top of it and make a platform, and that would be much cheaper, and honestly I think it looks way better. Like I love a little steps up to a porch, I think that's so cute. Anyway, I also did like a little basement-y area. I don't know what it is, but townhouses often have like a basement which has like an overlooking window. I assume it's probably for like space reasons in a city, like you don't have a lot of building space, so you might as well go down and up. That's why there's skyscrapers and stuff, but honestly I don't really know. Anyway, let's talk about the colouring of these houses. So obviously I like the blue, but if you know anything about me or my building, or if you've watched any of my videos before, I am awful at picking colour schemes because I always do the same thing every time. Recently I have been doing a bit more blue builds, but even then, typically in my builds I go for a dark green, a brown, like very earthy tones, as well as some black and white. And obviously here with like a beachy house, they're all colourful, I can't go for that, which is fun because it almost forces me, well not almost, it does force me to use different colours that I don't normally do, but it does also mean that I have to think twice as hard when I'm building, because what the hell am I doing? This ain't normal for me. Anyway, moving on, I'd now done like most of the shell of the build, so it was time to roof this thing. And oh my god, I don't know if you guys are like me, but I hate roofing. It's the worst thing to do. Like I don't think I'm necessarily bad at it, but I don't enjoy doing it at all. I mean, who does? But like especially with a build like this, how are you meant to make a roof look good? Like I do it in the end and I don't think it looks bad in the end, but I don't think it looks necessarily good. I think I actually need to practice on my roofing skills. But yeah, when I tell you I cut out like 10 minutes of footage of me trying like every single different roof, because they all just looked weird, like none of them looked right. And when I look at the reference pictures, they don't have roofs like this, because obviously a real life roof is way better than these stupid Bloxburg roofs where you have to piece them together and everything. But anyway, what I decided to go for were these gable roofs on like the peak bits of the house, and then I had a mixture of slanted roofs and the mansard roofs on the main bits. And I will say, I'll toot my own horn, I think it looks good in the end, but it should not have taken me like 15 minutes to do this. And then once I was done with the roof, I decided to add chimneys. I feel like a house without a chimney isn't a house. Like I'm not sure how to describe it. Like obviously a house without a chimney is a house, but to me like a house never feels completed if I haven't put a chimney on it. But anyway, I went through and I made them all like a slightly different height, and then I just coloured them with the brick colour that the house has. And like I said, to me these looked incomplete before I added these chimneys, so I don't know. At this point I was kind of bored with the building and like the kind of construction of it, and one of the things I knew I wanted to do was add kind of like a fake sea in front of the house. Now I know this sounds weird, but just listen. Out back we have the sea, but from the front you can't really see it, and I really wanted just for photos to have like sea or like water in the front. So I went for this kind of like river kind of shape, almost as if this was the river that like fed into the sea. And even if it is just such a minor detail, it filled all that empty space at the front, which I hate having empty space at the front of houses, but I don't really know how to fill them normally. And as well as that, just for like photos or even just looking at it, you can now tell that it is very obviously beach houses. So overall, I just think if you're building a house and you're not sure what to put in the front garden, put a river, put a lake, it looks good. or I should say a pond, not a lake, but either way it always looks good and it takes up so much room. And finally, moving back to the house, the last thing I wanted to add to like everywhere was just a bunch of greenery, like including palm trees, little bushes and shrubs, and notably flowers outside the windows. I always forget about flowers and just this feature in general, but in my last video where I turned a gazebo into a house, I put those flower pots outside the windows, and I think for such an easy thing to do, it adds so much detail. So with these houses, I did the same thing really. It was super easy. All I did was make one planter, I added the plants, the flowers and everything, and then I duplicated them onto every window, and I just changed the color of flowers depending on the house. And in the end, it's probably my favorite detail across the whole build. It looks so good. And on top of that, I also went through and added some plants and benches and stuff on the front little gardens of the houses, which I think was a really cute detail to add. Now, I know I said finally on the last section, but I low-key forgot about this one until I just got to voice over it. So in this video, I don't actually decorate the interior of any of these houses, because realistically, that would just take loads of time to do in one video. But I do have plans to decorate each one. I want to do, like, do you remember when people used to do these like one color houses where they were only allowed to use one color and blah 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 blah? I really want to do, like, for the orange house, I have to do a full orange house. Like, everything in it has to be decorated with orange colors or different shades of orange, and that would be the same in the greenhouse, just with green shades and like etc. So I'm hoping if you guys like this one, obviously, then I want to do videos decorating the interior but making them into the challenges where I can only use that color. So anyway, what I'm doing right now is just setting out the layouts for the interiors. I just really wanted to help myself when I came back to doing the interiors, that the like layout was already done, and obviously when I decorate I can go back and change the layout and whatever, but decorating is so much easier when you go to do it and you open the house and it's already got a layout, it's already got floors and walls and they're all painted and everything. Even little things, just having like the stairs already be put in, like not having to find a place to put the stairs, that's so much easier. So basically that is what I'm doing at the moment to the build. And I know you're probably looking at the build right now and being like, well, why is there wooden floors? That's not really an all pink house. But I think I'm going to give myself allowances. Like, I can use browns, whites and blacks as well as just pink, or whatever color the house is, because if I walked into a house and every single thing in it was bright pink, like, ew, I don't want to go in that house. Or even like if I want plants and stuff, the stems are going to be green. Like, just little things like that I will keep the color of. But anyway, yeah, that will be my next like mini series. We'll be decorating these one color houses. It'll be like 6 episodes because there's 6 houses, but hopefully you guys will like those. And anyway, we're basically done with the build now. I've just kind of got to wrap up the back end of the house because that's looking a mess. So I'm going to lock in, finish this build, and I'll be back with the final result.
I'm still a fan, even though it's salty. Hate to see you messing around the brand. Are you happy? Hate to see you happy if I'm not the one driving. I'm so mature, I'm so mature, I'm so mature. They got me in therapist to tell me there's a limit. I want that and I just want you. And I can't have you, no one should have mine. I look you eyes, not the best idea. Is
Now, usually at the end of these videos I would do a walkthrough of the final build, but as this has just been an exterior build, there is not much to walk through. But my overall thoughts, I think this looks really cute and it's probably one of my favourite builds I've ever done. Like I said in the video, ever since I was a kid I was obsessed with these houses by the beach, so I'm glad I finally built them in the game. And as I said earlier, I will be decorating the interior of these builds, so make sure to subscribe if you want to see those. And thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.